touch with the DigiCert team across a number of different channels. We're going to start with chat, show you email, and then show you how it would work from a phone support scenario as well. It's, you know, the beauty of our platform is it's all under the same roof. It all works in the same way, more or less, and you can have access to the complete view of that customer, whether they're chatting, emailing, calling, etc. And the beauty is, since you guys are already using Sales Cloud, there's a lot of opportunities for synergies between the sales and service team as well. If you pull up see that the customer has submitted a case, you can see, open opportunities they have, closed opportunities, open cases, previous cases, get that full picture together to allow you guys to be intelligent about the way you're providing service and identify, upsell, additional opportunities. I haven't gotten deep enough to understand what are your top priorities around customer satisfaction or upsell. We'd love to dive into that at some point too. But so we're going to look at the perspective of a customer and then the perspective of a DigiCert support agent. Is that, what do you guys call that role?
Like our tech support people.
Tech support folks. Okay, great.
Hey, real quick before you dive in, just Jack on the phone. What's your role? I know you're in San Francisco or Bay Area based. What's your function, just so we are aware?
Yeah, I came over from the Symantec business that was acquired by DigiCert, and I had been the kind of the go-to person, admin of the chat and email solution that the team had been using, which is Moxie. So I've got some familiarity with how the teams are set up and the current tool that we use.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Great.
And I also work with Jeff on the sales ops team, so we're both Salesforce admins.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome. Great. So I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with our community product at all, but what you're seeing here is Community Cloud. And the reason we start here is this is really a customer portal. The idea is that you guys can design a portal however you want using pre-configured templates that Salesforce provides, making it so there's not a lot of coding involved whatsoever. It's all declarative configuration. And I can set up this community to allow customers to view their own information, look at knowledge articles, engage in discussion as part of a community overall. If you see, we're a big adopter of our own products overall, and we have a huge, what we call success community out, online, where our customers are constantly posting questions or ideas for feature enhancements, things like that. That's all part of what a community means to us. And I've done, just very light branding here. I'm not a web designer. This is not a pretty looking page right now. You guys could certainly make it so very easily. But right now I'm logged in as a customer. And the beauty of having a customer log in is then I'm able to actually surface information relevant to that specific customer, such as, my cases. But you can also do this in an unauthenticated scenario where you're just having general web traffic access the community. They can view the knowledge article, the knowledge base that you make accessible, view the discussions. They're just not going to see, content specific to them as an individual. So you can see here, there's a lot going on. We can show who are some of our, MVPs and do some case deflection with getting internal users or members of your customer community to answer questions. I can start discussions.
Is that the customer portal?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. I see it's logged in as Lauren B.
Yep.
Yep. She's our customer in this scenario. Yep. So there's a lot I can expose here, but as you saw, topics, discussions. I can get a feed of what I've been interacting with when it comes to the portal. As I said, you can determine what Salesforce information you want to expose. So I can actually click into a case here and get an idea of what the latest updates are on that case, details, collaborate back and forth with an agent right here from the portal. I'll go back to the home page here. And so let's say, as I'm the customer, I'm having an issue with one of my self-signed certificates. So I'm going to go ahead and check out the technology category and see if I can find a article that might help me solve my problem. Again, this is all about, allowing your customers to, in a lot of cases, especially tech purchasers or tech users, they want to be able to solve these problems themselves before they call you guys or email you guys or chat you guys. So this is a great way to do that. You can see here the articles we're showing are not exactly relevant to DigiCert because it's a demo environment, but this is where I actually use the knowledge base that's stored in Salesforce and make that accessible to my community. And I know you guys are interested in talking about knowledge, so we can dive into that a little bit further. But essentially, you set up your knowledge base in Salesforce. It becomes a repository of all the articles you have around questions, FAQs, technical support, resolution of issues, whatever that means to you. And you're able to do tagging, deployment of those articles out to, so you can make them external or internal only. And this is where you'd expose those, external articles that you want your customers to be able to access.
How are you doing that today?
The article?
Yeah, just like, I know you and I talked very briefly via email on it. Just curious what the process or the flow is today.
So we don't really have like a community one. We just have because with us, we're doing a lot of server installations.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a big knowledge base kind of on our website where you go to support and it's just pick what you're doing.
Okay.
But it doesn't expand really past dedicated to server installations. This would be great to start asking questions of what's this process. We have a lot of things we answer on a daily basis that could be answered in a forum.
So the benefit would be like reducing potentially the chat volume or the call volume into your service.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, and I would imagine, as you just said, you guys probably have 10, 15 issues you see over and over and over again. And as you identify those, you can continue to expand and, your knowledge base, create additional articles that might help your customers. So you'll see here, you can actually give your technical support agents the ability to create articles if it comes up on a case, or you can restrict that ability as well and go through a whole approval process of review, and publishing of those articles. So, in this case, the article about the wind turbine is not very helpful for me. So I'm going to go ahead and contact support. And this is one way, I can actually drive cases directly into Service Cloud from here. What I do is I set up a simple form, fields I want to capture, and based on the selections, whatever that means to you guys, drive that to the right agents that might have that expertise. But we want to show you guys chat today. So this is one way of submitting a case. And again, the beauty of doing it this way and instead of via email is we know the customer, or we're asking for their email address if they're not logged in. So we can immediately pop to who that person is, get all their information rather than a blank email coming in that we have to sort through and don't have any metadata associated with it. But in this case, I want to go ahead and chat. You can see I have a little widget here that tells me chat is offline right now. So I'm going to go over for a minute and switch into Salesforce Service Console. Have you guys seen Service Cloud products at all?
Pretty close to what they're looking at right now.
Okay, great. That's awesome. So, I don't need to go through and explain this in too much detail, but the idea is to try to present as much information as can be relevant and important to your technical support agents from one screen. We walk into a lot of customers where they have 15 different tabs open or pulling information from a bunch of different systems, trying to get that view of what's going on with the customer. We want you to do that right here instead. And a couple of things to point out. So milestones, this is where you can actually assign, whether these are contractual SLAs with your customers or just internal targets you guys want to hit. You can assign different milestones throughout the life of a case, like when we're first getting back to the customer, when we're proposing a solution, when we're actually closing out the case, and then start to track those goals internally. You can see Community 360. So again, this is a benefit of having our user log into the community, but I can actually see what she's interacted with, whether it's asking a question, interacting with a discussion, viewing a knowledge article. I can see all that information right here. And then I have my knowledge base. So once again, this is my internal view of the knowledge base. So I could have very deep technical or internal information that I don't want to expose in that customer portal you just saw, that I make available to my support agents because it's something that is going to help them resolve those cases faster. So it's instantly searchable. I can find those articles very quickly, and I can even, quickly and easily attach and email an article out to the customer right away.
I have a question about that, about the knowledge.
Sure.
Real quick. Can a third-party knowledge application be integrated just like that?
So I'll answer that in two ways. I mean, generally speaking, we've, best practices to have the article within Salesforce. So that way you can do a lot of things with it native to the platform, and you can do, there's ways of relatively easily migrating content from other sources that you might have a repository in today. But if you do want to actually use an existing knowledge repository for some reason, we follow an open API concept, open platform concept. You can find a way to integrate that into the platform and have that show up. It's just not going to be, as smooth an experience and require some development to get that all set up.
Okay.
You guys have is there a compelling reason to stick with your current knowledge solution, or what are you guys using for knowledge today?
Jack, are you thinking of I forgot what it's called, the Oracle knowledge base?
Yeah, that's what that's the Symantec application that we're moving off of.
But we're extracting all that data, right? So we can
into AEM.
Okay. And are you deploying Service Cloud now? Or look, I'm just looking over your shoulder on your whiteboard there. What's
So this is
that's today, by the way.
Just so you know, that was actually February 21st.
Okay, all right. Well, today, ironically, is Wednesday the 21st. So.
Yeah, we're a little behind.
Yeah, we're kind of on this last stretch that we tripped right at the finish line.
Okay.
But we're just finishing that. I think I mentioned it to you. We had Bailey.
Correct.
For that.
Yeah.
And they kind of tripped us at the finish line.
Got it.
So we're just finishing that up, and we've actually got a lot of people.
Part of it's
right
on
now.
us too, because we're not fully ready either, I don't think, so we're just easing into it.
Got it.
And we do have some people in there right now that are actively working, like the Japanese team.
Yeah.
And did that come with the Symantec acquisition, or where does that sit?
So this has actually been separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
We decided separately because, there's a homegrown system. It was basically let's replace the homegrown system.
Yeah.
Let's go with Salesforce.
Yeah.
And then the Symantec thing just happened to be working in parallel.
Yeah.
They've been on Salesforce. We just started kind of pulling
Got it.
users into our system.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, cool. I was looking at that, so I was kind of curious. Spinning my wheels a little.
Great. Yeah, so, a lot of times we walk in and people have never seen this before, so I know this is a little bit different audience. The one thing I do want to point out too that's getting a little bit into the weeds, but all of this is configurable. It's as simple as dragging and dropping components onto the page, rearranging what I see. That again, the beauty of Salesforce, I'm not writing any code. I don't need to be a developer here. If I want to add a tab and showcase some more information, it's all declarative, point and click, very easy to do that. You can see we have a lot of out-of-the-box Lightning components, and then you can develop your own custom ones as well. Have you guys seen the, what we call the app builder before, or seen this?
This right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It looks easier than it is until I start playing with it, and then things break.
Yeah.
But good get
That's
things
fair.
what we wanted, but.
So let's get back to the, what we're here for, and that's really the live chat. So I'm working this case right now, and so I'm in a busy status as my technical support agent in what we call omni-channel, but I'm going to go ahead and make myself available for chat. And omni-channel is really, one of the secret sauces to our Service Cloud product. It's what allows us to route work to the right agent at the right time. That can be based on, skills you have established for different agents, the types of cases that they're usually taking on, what kind of workload you want them to have, can they handle 5 chats at the same time? only one phone call at the same time, I'd imagine, unless they're very talented. But that's how this all works. And, you know, a lot of times you have people that are going to a case list and pulling out a case that they want to work on. And you tend to get cherry picking at that point, people looking at cases they know they can answer, leads to long wait times and not a very good customer experience. So this is really proactively routing that work. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my community. And as you can see now that I have an agent who's available, my chat is up and running. And, you know, this is my pre-chat form. Again, you can configure that however you want. We don't recommend making that a huge barrier of entry to get that, you know, customer to initiate a chat. And in this case, since that person's logged in, we have some basic info. I'm going to say issue with self-signed cert. I don't know much about SSL certificates, so making this all up. And, you know, this is where, and we've seen this on your website as well, we're waiting for an agent to answer this chat, right? Now, if I go over here, omnichannel, and even, I've already played the sound, but I get a notification that a chat request is out. It's pushed to me, and I'm going to go ahead and accept that. So what this does is open up my chat window. And what I'll do here, just so we can see how this works, is bring these windows together.
Does any of your chat integrate today?
What's that?
Like, does your existing chat application today integrate with any of your Salesforce assets? I didn't think so.
Nothing.
Yep.
We discussed it with Moxie, but we'd never implemented it.
Yeah.
So as you can see over here on the left is my customer experience. Over here on the right is my agent experience. And, you know, there's some cool features as part of our chat beyond just being part of the Salesforce platform in general. One you can see here is I actually get a preview of that text. So I haven't hit submit on this chat yet, but the agent's able to see what's going on and, you know, start to sniff out issues quicker. In some cases, you know, we've actually seen, because we use this solution internally as well, customer gets on, is really upset, types a long, angry message. You can see what they're typing, and while they're typing that, go find the knowledge article that's going to help them solve their problem, send it to them, and then you see them erase that message. But so over here, you know, obviously I just have a free form where I can interact back and forth. I can also use things like quick text. So I've set up, you know, a number of different texts that actually can use variables as well. Let's see if I can find an example of that.
While he's doing that, just again, curiosity question, your existing, you know, service desks today, do they manage multiple, like, cases simultaneously, or are they doing everything kind of one-off and then they close it out, or?
Like, if it's an agent working multiple chats?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's what I
they'll
thought.
have a tab with 4 or 5 chats.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, you can, you know, this is kind of like almost a mini knowledge base in that we can, you know, set up quick text that we want to reuse and continue to add to that over time. And you can see here,
So that's not knowledge base, that's just like a canned response.
yeah, that's a quick text.
Are multiple chats handled on separate tabs in this case? So there's separate views?
Yeah, can you show us is that too hard to show us what multiple chats would look like?
No, that shouldn't be too hard.
You want me to,
yeah, that's a good idea.
is this live, or you want me to join the chat? Oh, you got it.
See if I can get that.
Just because a couple of chat providers, that was one of the things that steered us away from us, was it was so hard to navigate through 5 different chats.
Yep.
And Moxie's the opposite, Jack. It's almost too easy, but it's too easy to mess up too.
Yeah, it's like
all open at once.
they have to be all in the same view. You can't separate them by tab.
Context of
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
And it minimizes each view. Obviously, if you have 6 chats open, the chat windows get smaller. It's all within a Java window.
All right, so here I'm logged in as a different individual.
So, I know this is a silly question.
No, it's all good.
That's important.
So yeah, you can see I'm getting alerted. I'm going to pop that up, and what it's going to do is pop up another tab.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys, this is our what we call console experience. That's designed to use primary tabs here and then sub tabs for ease of navigation. So yeah, that's what it's going to look like. You're going to tab back and forth, and let's say, so I've just presented a number of chats in a row to my initial customer here. But if I'm my customer here, I have this, you can actually set, you can see there's a little indicator that shows me, customer has entered a response.
Okay.
So if I'm working multiple titles here, I can quickly see, hey, customer's gotten back to me, I need to make sure I flip back over and respond quickly.
The little red
Does it
icon
make a sound when it does that?
It doesn't make a sound. No, I mean, there's some flexibility with what you can do with this, but it's not extensive. It's pretty basic.
Okay.
What's your kind of take on that experience? Just the
Yep, so that red goes
tabular experience.
That's not bad. That's pretty much what we're doing now, but sound is important because a lot of times they'll be on a whole different window doing something different.
Yeah.
And they got, especially if you got 6 semi-inactive chats, you don't want to sit there waiting for a little red dot to show up.
Right.
So I'll take that as a takeaway for Neil, kind of our SME on that. So
Great.
enable sound for incoming. Okay, got it.
So, the other things we can show, and again, this is all up to you guys to determine what we want to surface, right? But I'm instantly associating this to a contact I have in Salesforce. I can link related items. I could even show opportunities if I wanted here, but I can look at past chats. So, the times we've chatted with Lauren in the past, can pull that up quickly, get the details of the actual chat, like the IP address they're coming from and, what browser they're using, things like that. I don't know if browser compatibility is a issue you guys face in your technical support team at all, but.
Not as much.
Okay. But so this is, this is the Salesforce object that's actually storing that chat record. And you guys can determine, do we want to automatically associate a chat to a case or not? So you can have as soon as a chat comes in, a case is automatically created, and that chat transcript gets stored with the case details, and we can track it that way. Or if it's more transactional, you don't necessarily have a reason to, have a case behind every chat, you can do it that way. So in this case, we just have a, ability to link it to an existing case or create a new case right from the screen here.
Okay.
Do you have thoughts on your preference initially, or?
I don't think we'd want to create cases off every chat, especially with some of the stuff we deal with, but it's nice to know that we could if we needed to, if it was a bigger.
Sure.
What's the benefit just from a visibility to the customer record standpoint to have access to kind of their history from a support standpoint? Is there a business benefit there? Or?
You're thinking like benefit potentially to other people outside of the support area?
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of understanding what their temperature is, as an example.
Well, and I think it's good to use that word because I think most likely most of the sales reps wouldn't delve into a lot of the cases.
Yeah.
But if we could just, I know you can build like a counter, for example, you can have like a roll-up field on the account object that says they've had this many cases. Or, I've seen companies even do like temperature gauges based on those cases. So I think something like that would be valuable. Just being able to see like, okay, here's a bunch of chat transcripts. Like, I don't picture a lot of reps really spending much time there. Firstly, because our sales reps are managing so many accounts. Some of them are managing like 1,000 or 1,500 accounts. And so it's a matter of, okay, I've got to contact these 40 accounts today, I'm not gonna spend 40 minutes on each one of them.
Right.
I'm looking to just kind of see what, okay, looks like they're about there.
Yep.
And if I could have a quick dashboard on the account page saying, here's how many cases, here's how many cases in the last 6 months.
Yep.
You know, whatever else it could be. Okay, it looks like they've contacted support a lot. Let me now jump in, now that I know that they actually have been.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Right, that helps. Thanks.
Couple other just, native elements of the chat to point out. So you can request a file transfer. You can actually transfer the chat to another agent. Right now, I don't have any other agents online, but
Actually, so on that, can we transfer it to another queue? Or?
yes, you can transfer it to a queue or to an individual.
So if I transfer it to, say this is tech support, and I want to send it over to Jeff and Cells, I can send it to Cells and it rings over to Cells.
Yep, and then that'll follow whatever routing process you have established there.
That's one of the things our current live agent's working on for us, so.
Okay.
And then also, the ability to block someone if they're just spamming you or, it's a bot or something.
Is that just based on IP then? Or
There's a couple, yeah, looks like based on IP.
Okay.
And then you can actually, flag a chat, and while you're handling an issue with someone, like raise a question to your manager or raise a question to someone else. So that would be, I don't want to transfer this yet, but I still need some help, and I don't want to, walk away from my desk and go tap someone on the shoulder. And then, again, I'm repeating myself a lot on this point, but it's configurable how you want this to all come up. So we have it set up that we're popping the, the chat in a tab, and then you have sub-tabs of the actual chat transcript and the customer. Because this allows me, as we've talked about, to get directly to that entire view of the customer, how they interact with DigiCert, what programs are they involved in, what are the previous cases, have they filled out surveys, if you're doing anything with customer surveys, opportunities, campaigns, anything you're tracking in Salesforce, whether it's from a service standpoint, sales standpoint, can all be patched together in this customer view, activity we've had with them, emails, phone calls, and that's very helpful to give our tech support agents context and provide a better support experience.
Now, if we set up some sort of, I'm not sure if this is entitlement, but let's say we have like our premier named accounts, whatever. Is there, what's the easiest way for someone who's seeking a chat to get flagged, like, hey, you need to pay special attention to this?
Yeah, entitlements is how you would probably set that up. So you can, define what types of channels people can contact you on. Maybe you have, your top people can text you and chat you and everything, and you're supposed to get back in 4 hours. So that's going to show up, in your milestones.
Okay.
And again, if you guys want to set that up for the actual chat record itself, you could do that as well. But one thing we've actually experimented with and done a lot with recently is dynamic page layouts. So I showed you kind of the editor for what this page looks like. And we use this example a lot when you have a customer who hasn't paid their bill, for example. If I have a status on the, that customer record of bill past due or, any sort of variable I'm tracking about them, I can actually pop, a flag onto the screen that says bill past due. And you could use similar logic to say, top priority customer, tier 1 customer based on, customer tier or entitlement or whatever that looks like.
Okay.
And on the same note, I'm sure if it was we call them platinum customers, they would go first in omni-channel. Could we put them to the next channel? Okay.
It's all about, as long as you have the logic to support that workflow.
That's doable.
Yeah.
Something we can't do now either.
And then I want to see, I don't think there's any live Einstein data in here as well. Were you guys familiar with Einstein? A little bit.
Yeah.
This is where we're continually building this into our platform to track things like sentiment of the customer, what's our predicted CSAT. And again, this is demo environment, so there's no live data in here, but.
How do you guys measure CSAT today?
For chat?
Yeah, or for anything.
Well, Moxie's better, but on chat, they literally have an option at the end of chat to either award or review the agent.
Okay.
So we either have a really good or a really bad.
Okay. Got it.
But
Is there like an NPS score or anything that you leverage, or so it's just CSAT?
Yep.
Are your agents incentivized for, like from an SLA standpoint, are they
So.
like response time or anything like that?
Not
or-
necessarily from that, just reward-based,
Okay.
we have a few incentives and things for,
Okay.
you know, obviously all the rewards, but it's really hard because you either get a full reward or a review. There's no ratings or anything like that.
Okay. Another question, like on that model, is it like a follow the sun model, or is everybody here, or how big is the team that's supporting all the inquiries?
So, support and validation, because
Uh-huh.
we need to include both.
Yeah.
We have 300 to 400 people.
Okay.
And we do, trying to do the follow the sun, but
Yeah.
here in Utah especially, we have
Okay.
here people are 24/7.
Okay, got it.
So,
Okay, thanks.
Great.
On that note, is there a way to create schedules, like open schedules, closed schedules? Or is it all based on status of the agents as a whole, whether the queue's open or not?
Schedules like business hours they're available
Yeah.
in, like that. Yeah,
Right.
that's absolutely doable.
And with that, I mean, kind of a follow-up question with that, I know when you were first showing us and the agent was not logged in, so let's say you have all agents are busy, can we still have it set to active so that the chat never appears offline?
Yeah, I mean, you can set up your policy around how you want that to apply to your agents. I'll pull this up because I think it's helpful to illustrate some of the capabilities here. But this is what we call Omni Supervisor. And so this is actually live data looking at my agents, you know, what status, how long they've been in those statuses, how long they've been logged in, what channels are they available on. And you saw I'd selected chat available. I can set up an Omni configuration that would make me available across all channels.
Okay.
So phone, email, case, chat, text, whatever. And this is also where you can see how I define a workload, how many items I'm working on. Maybe a chat is pretty lightweight, so that's going to be 1 unit of work. An email is going to be 2, and a phone call is going to be 3. And we use that to define our capacity. But this is kind of where it all starts in terms of
Managing the workload.
managing omni-channel and routing.
Do you have them kind of filtered off based on specialty, or is everybody kind of wears the same hat?
So in ours, it's everybody basically.
Okay, all right.
Are you using queues?
What's that?
We have support and validation.
Go on.
Yeah.
But does validation handle chat?
Yes. Yep. But for most of them, they kind of wear all hats and go where needed. So we've always had a hard time putting, I don't know, like some of the routing has been hard because we want it to bring to everybody because we don't know who's going to be ready at that exact time. We just want people to take wherever they can.
Yep.
So.
Part of this too is, you drive the right behavior by telling your people they're being measured, right? I mean, if you're trying to be a good technical support agent, you don't want to be showing as offline for half a day.
Totally.
And we have customers we've seen be really successful with, gamifying that system, showing, who's had a high CSAT response, who's handling a lot of work.
Can you grab some of this data and use it in reports? So you get a real-time like gamification and actually present it to the reps?
Yeah, the one thing you can't do, in our out-of-the-box reports and dashboards is this like actual real-time, how long they've been in state sort of thing. But everything else is, you can use all the information in Salesforce. So I'll show you.
And actually, here's a question more about Lightning, but I know one of the things that we struggled with in the past is as we tried to gamify things on the sales side, it's really like we ended up purchasing a third-party system, a gamification tool called Hoopla.
Okay.
That would essentially like real-time show like, hey, someone just had a meeting, here's the new count of all the meetings. And when we did it straight out of Salesforce, it was literally us like clicking refresh all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just hitting refresh every like 10 minutes. It's like we can't have someone hitting refresh all the time.
Right.
Is there a way to kind of get that truly real-time refresh frequently instead of Lightning?
There's ways you could do that. I mean, it's not going to be probably to the level of a point solution that's specifically set up to do gamification. but you can set alerts, you know, when something reaches a certain threshold, notify these individuals, this chatter group.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of done through
More
a
kind of
combination of
one-off
chatter and,
notifications.
yeah, notifications.
Okay.
So, yeah. But so this is an example of a service executive dashboard. And you guys have seen stuff like this before, I'm sure, but. So I'm looking at CSAT, average handle time, open cases by account, you know, what are my customer value versus how much they costing to serve. So you can get pretty deep and wide into the types of analysis you run. So this would be looking at it from a, you know, executive standpoint, wanting to take a look at my overall agent performance, and I can drill down into, you know, for example, a specific account or a specific technical support agent or a specific type of case. Anything, again, that we're tracking in Salesforce, we can drill into from that standpoint.
Like, to that front, do you have any, like, in your actual floor, do you have any monitors like this that are displaying critical data?
Yeah. Has all of our functions, chat, phones, and emails.
Yeah.
And then the leaderboard for the gamification.
So that's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So you could, you know, you've talked about platinum tier accounts. You could very easily envision a scenario where you create a, you know, platinum accounts dashboard, have the leader of the technical support group subscribe to that dashboard to be notified every day, you know, that pushed out to them. They're keeping in track of the status of those top accounts. And that's just one of many examples of what you could start to do with that. Are you interested in seeing the email channel or any of the other channels? I mean, it all kind of works the same way, but I'm happy to
We're currently using, we're setting up email
Yeah.
channel.
No,
I think we're pretty good on
I'm not
that.
concerned about that. What about phone? So like, you guys obviously don't do the phone. It's usually a third party, right, that integrates into it.
Yep.
But it still would work the same way. So you go on the channel, take a call.
Yep, so it's, you know, the third party is a telephony provider, right?
Yeah.
Like In Contact right down the road, or
Yeah.
New Voice Media, or Cisco, or whoever that might be. And that can come through omni-channel. You know, I don't have it set up here, but we make use of the soft phone. So as that, you know, that phone case comes in,
Like you.
again, as long as I have that customer's phone number in the system, I can screen pop right to the record,
Nice.
create a new case. So that's all, you know, supported under the same umbrella, same style.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had that set up, not our particular business, but the other Symantec business had a BNS adapter set up where they integrated with Cisco. I know our group wanted it as well, but we were on a different Salesforce instance. But it might be something to look into, because they really liked it.
So Jack, it sounds like you've had quite a bit of exposure from your Symantec days to a lot of the things that are shown. Is that a correct assumption?
Yeah, to a point. I mean, I'm certainly no expert, but I was familiar a little bit with how that team had that set up, where they would log in to their phone application through a Salesforce page, instead of going to a separate page to log in, and they would pick up calls and do all the functions with handling calls within the Salesforce page.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I know our website security business, the business that DigiCert acquired, wanted it, but we never deployed it. They're on a different Salesforce instance, but it's something that we've talked about doing. So it would be good to explore that a little more, if that's, you know, overall, if that's what the sales team would like, and maybe even the support teams would like it as well.
So from your perspective, is there anything that's missing? You know, certainly I heard the ability to manage multiple cases, you know, kind of through that tabular environment, the importance of having some sort of notification, whether it's audible or whatever, outside of that red dot.
And we know those are simple things.
Yep.
One question, we were looking at 8x8 chat system when we were doing their telephony, and they have a auto translate option. Does your chat have anything like that?
Like from a localization standpoint for language support? That I don't know the answer
We'll have
to.
to ask Neil about that.
And it's never been a deal breaker. The last chat, when we switched, it was one of the things we really wanted the other chat provider for, but we ended up not going with it. Because, you know, we do have a lot of language-based reps,
Yeah.
and sometimes they're just not available, and we end up having to translate, so.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to ask a question related to that, because we have a large number of chat queues, many based on language, and in Salesforce, I mean, is there a way like to have attributes for agents based on language, for example, that a chat would route to them, or would we need to create separate queues for, let's say, like a German or French or whatever language is supported?
Yeah, that could be part of the skill-based routing if you want to go that route. You know, language is a skill, of course, and you could set it up in that regard to get away from the queues if you wanted to.
Yeah, that would be ideal to minimize the number of queues we actually have, because we have so many of them now. It'd be nice to be able to pare that down and find other ways to handle language support.
Do you guys have anybody going to the service campfire next Tuesday or Wednesday? Tuesday, I think, up at the Kimpton, Monaco. Did you get that info on the Service Cloud campfire? I think Gus sent it out. I thought I saw it.
I think I did see that.
Yeah, she sent it yesterday, I think.
Yeah, so kind of I am in Neil as we speak. Would it be helpful or beneficial kind of for your team? And Jack, I mean, certainly, I mean, you're in San Francisco, it's a little bit more challenging, but he's here and would be available to come in, kind of sit with your existing, kind of see what your existing environment looks like. We call it kind of a day in the life a little bit, and kind of really pop the hood on what we could do to help transform that. Would that be helpful next Monday afternoon?
I don't think it would not be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, especially, our subject matter expert.
I
right?
just worry because, you know, we're just one side here. There's obviously the legacy semantic that none of us do here.
That's right.
Moxie and all that. So
Yeah.
we would be missing a piece.
Okay.
And the more complicated piece.
Okay.
Yeah, our setup is pretty basic.
We've tried to keep
We're
it
just
as
doing
simple as possible.
cases.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the vision to kind of eventually pull that all together so you have everything under one umbrella?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, especially with his skill set, that might be overkill, is what I'm hearing.
That would be
Yeah.
my worry, is he's telling me, all right, this is
Basic.
simple.
Yeah.
At the moment, and potentially in 6 months,
Yeah.
like hopefully when we've got more people in and we're trying to integrate more systems.
Yeah, and
it'd
we're
be
trying
great
to
have that.
come up with better ideas of how to utilize it better, because when we come into this, we'll probably be pretty simple on how we utilize it.
Yep.
But we obviously and then Jack, we get Jeff to help us, but.
Got it. So from a roadmap and kind of a timeline perspective, you know, from a priority standpoint, did I hear knowledge base is kind of number one? Or-
I think probably chat.
Okay, chat. Okay.
It's,
Or
I
can
don't
you
know.
run those in
Actually,
parallel?
there's a
Actually, I think-
deadline for knowledge.
Jack might,
Yeah,
I think the KV is probably gonna be just with the timelines
Okay.
of the GSAs, but chat's a close second for sure.
My knowledge base is super easy, you know, deployment. So, yeah, matter of fact, I'm curious. I saw that internal email string on 300K, like implemented.
Well, so Monica, the last
Okay,
rep, she
yeah.
had approached me kind of right at the end of her
Yeah.
cycle with the account and said, hey, let's move to unlimited.
Yeah.
And I said, no, you know,
Yeah.
we're not moving to unlimited right now.
I get it. Yeah.
And she said, well, we can, you know, with unlimited, you get knowledge base, you get live agent
Yeah.
per rep,
Yeah.
plus the storage increase, plus,
Yeah.
you know, whatever else.
Yeah.
And I think it came out, it was actually more than 300K, it was like 300, 400, 500K
Okay.
increase.
Okay.
And at the time, our sales budget was just kind of capped. If you did, you have like 500K sitting around.
Yeah, we totally do.
Everyone does.
So yeah, I guess it depends, because if it's done piecemeal, if we're just like throwing on knowledge base, I'm sure it's not that expensive.
Yeah.
What she was giving us was based on, unlimited, and, well, yeah, I guess just to change to unlimited.
Got it.
With that Zacco, we could open that up, 500K.
I know, seriously,
Nice work.
that was easy.
Okay, I might revisit that and come look at that.
Yeah, well, and I'm not sure if I ever saw an exact price for, here's knowledge base, here's live agent chat, here's whatever else.
Right.
She just kind of said, hey, let's just do unlimited.
I thought that was, the way I interpreted that was more on the implementation side, like a iBailey type thing. I was like, well, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
okay.
And honestly, like, I mean, I don't know how you guys have rolled out Service Cloud, but if you've done that, have you done that somewhat internally? I mean, you have some, or I Bailey helped, but.
Yeah, I barely helped, and it's, I mean, we're just kind of putting finishing touches on it
Okay.
right now internally.
Yeah, I mean, if you have someone who's a subject matter expert on that, who's worked with Service Cloud, like implementing things like Live Agent and Knowledge Base are not, you know, a force multiplier, more difficult. They're all part of the same thing, and it's configuring, you know, how you want that form to appear, how you want the tab and sub-tabs to pop open, you know, pretty simple stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. So I know we're nearing the top of the, well, we are at the top of the hour now. I want to be sensitive to schedule. So what's missing? What kind of do you envision next steps? Give me a little guidance.
I don't know about missing. Do you think of anything in chat that we struggle with?
Why does it take so long today to respond in your existing environment? Do you know, or
Chats?
yeah, is it
Well,
resources or is it volume? Okay.
But we're actually, just this week, we got a bunch of new resources. We're getting back down to our regular.
Okay.
We used to be, get a response under a half a minute.
Okay.
About an hour.
Yeah, we talked about that last time I was here. Yeah.
So I mean, that's the issue. And
Okay, volume. Okay.
yeah.
Do you have any sense of like the volume that's coming in?
Chat-wise, from our live agent, we're seeing anywhere from 12 to 1,500 chats a day.
Okay.
But the big issue's been phone volume increase, so it's taking a lot more
Yeah.
resources.
Right. That doesn't scale
Yeah.
very well. So I mean, from what you've seen from a knowledge chat, even the customer portal perspective, is that interesting to you guys? Is the customer portal something that you're thinking about?
Yeah.
The community?
Yeah.
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 I don't think we'd have a very large percentage of people actually use it, because what they come to us for are simple, quick
Yes.
questions.
Hence
But
the importance of
some of our
knowledge base.
bigger customers that do use us a lot on a daily basis, absolutely would be beneficial in their cases.
You know,
Enterprise or partners.
yeah, the enterprise departments probably, but a large portion of that business, I don't know what percentage it is, for people that only really contact us like, what, once every year or two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
People kind of set up their server and just walk away for a year or two.
Yeah.
Never think about it again.
Yeah, are you compliant, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay. All right, so takeaway action items. I mean, I've got a couple answers that I'm going to circle back with you guys on. I'm going to explore a few options for you on that piece, see if it makes sense. Obviously, Neil's in town next Monday, so sounds like we'll miss you on Tuesday. I don't know if it would be beneficial to send anybody. Just kind of get the wheels spinning on that piece. That's an all-day thing at Kimpton. That's an option, so you've got that info. But if you want to leverage Neil while he's here, Monday afternoon would be the time to do it.
Okay. What about a sandbox to play around with the chat? Is that possible?
You know, it's not something that we typically do just because it's so turnkey from a deployment standpoint. So we'd rather customize a demo and just really show you kind of a little bit like Kevin's done, but maybe going a tad deeper on that.
Okay. With all of our past, and that's fine, with all our past ones, we've usually done like a 3-week demo to let some agents get their takes. So the thing with it is we'll miss 20 items ourselves here that our agents day-to-day, we like to let them loosen it before we make decisions. But I mean, that's fine, that's understandable.
Should we get a second demo with more people?
And that actually might make sense to have Neil kind of sit, you know, with some of those team members. And I mean, I'll leave that to you, but that's beneficial, certainly.
Okay. That's the only other thing I can think of is we could actually play with it, but.
One other action item, and I don't know her schedule, let me see if she's having back, is Jackie Marcello. She's the one that kind of initiated the knowledge base question. We just jump on another call with her the next day or so.
Okay.
Potentially just a lot of Q&A. I don't know how much she actually needs to see. Maybe some of it will just be a repeat of today's.
Okay.
But I actually don't know who she is. She's been contacting me a bunch about knowledge base. Is she just under Lisa?
Yeah, she's under Lisa, right, Jack?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And again, I recorded this, so I can share it with you.
I think if Jackie sees it, and then she'll probably just have some Q&A, just a quick 15-minute call.
Yeah, let me send the recording to her.
Okay.
And and then I'll ask her if she wants to follow up call.
You got it.
Yeah, we're happy to take you under the hood of something like that too, because
For
with
sure.
knowledge, you know, obviously what you saw today is just the end result of,
Yeah.
there's an article out in the community, or there's an article we can access as a agent, but the bulk of the interaction with that is creating the articles, you know, what your options are
And
there,
that's her specific
approval,
job.
publish,
Got it.
yeah,
Got it.
She doesn't do anything else.
that whole workflow.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Yeah, right now, there's actually a project to exit, you know, the Oracle Inquirers TSA, and right now, with the tech support teams are linking cases to knowledge articles, and we're trying to mimic that with you know, the target AEM solution. So that's what's going on now, just as a heads up.
Okay, makes sense. All right, great. So I'll share this with you, Jeff. So you've got it. You can share it with Jackie and whoever else you deem important. Let me know sooner than later if it makes sense for Neil, because his schedule will fill up pretty quick. But I do know he's flying in late Monday morning, so you know, Monday afternoon's pretty open at this juncture. So knowing that there's some initiatives here for you guys, I'd like to get them in front of you and answer any of those knockout questions. You know, certainly to your point, I'll look at that offline with that team, but I'll circle back with you. And I'll close the loop on a couple of the outstanding questions that I took note of. Cool?
Kind of.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I have a meeting, another live agent demo meeting scheduled on my calendar